We are getting ready to start with our next session, QuickBooks for High School Educators, Hands-on Accounting Skills for Students, with our presenter, Christine Coppola. So welcome back, Christine. I'm going to pass it off to you.
Thank you. I was trying to update. Thank you for switching slides for me. Trying to update my app, but I was a little hesitant because I didn't want to completely lose my connection. So we're just going to work with moving. I'll hit next slide. I hope that's okay with everybody. All right, so this is QuickBooks for high school educators. This is hands-on accounting skills for students. All right, we can go to the next slide. I am Christine Coppola. I am with State County Regional High School in Little Falls, New Jersey, if there's anybody out there for New Jersey. Hello again. I was in the first session that Liliana was doing in a breakout room talking to people, and I was in the last session. I know there's a lot of questions about the portal and switching the portal. So we're going to get into all of that right now. We can move ahead. Right, so we're going to walk through the free curriculum and how it's structured. We're going to get familiar with Craig's landscaping. I know I spoke to a couple people. They said they were not happy with Craig's and the test drive, but hopefully it can change your mind on that. And the certification pathway and how to get free vouchers. Hello, everybody in the chat. I see people from West Virginia, New Hampshire, newbie for QuickBooks, no problem. Houston, Arkansas, very nice to see you all here. Right, before we jump in to the curriculum and certification, we're all on the same page. Everybody knows QuickBooks Online. I hope we're all good. If you want to throw me a thumbs up there, we got QuickBooks Online. I know I've been teaching QuickBooks Online for 9 years. Very nice, very nice. I've been teaching QuickBooks Online for 9 years. I know a lot of people just this past year. I have a lot of friends who are entrepreneurs and have their own businesses. And they're all calling me in a panic because they all got moved over to QuickBooks Online and they're missing their desktop. So I had to try and help them out with that because it's all moving online. And I know it's hard to try something new, just like you're moving over from your own files into your Craig's landscaping files. It's hard. You don't want it, but I promise you everything will be okay. We're all here to help. Right? So we know it's cloud-based, right? Especially with our Gen Z, our Gen Alpha, right? They work on their phones. They are not working on a computer. Half the time they're not on a desktop. They want to do everything through their phone. Oh, Tad Gaming. Yep. Craig's Landscaping, right? So they're all on their phone and they want to be able to do everything from their phone. I don't know how. I have my glasses on. I cannot see my phone that good with my big font, but these fabulous kids with their young eyes can see everything possible and they love to do it online, right? So we're going to have, we can go on to the next slide, right? So drop in the chat, where are we starting from? I already have a lot of you. Some people are using QuickBooks Online to help business. Some are teaching. Where are you, right? Are you teaching accounting but not QuickBooks, already teaching QuickBooks, or brand new to both? Right, we have a bunch. If I can see, I probably should have done a poll. It would make maybe a little bit easier. We got a little bit of everything, brand new to both. Yes, I even actually, my accountant actually called me to come over and help navigate a lot of his companies over from desktop to online. Not with QuickBooks yet. Accounting, yes, QuickBooks. So we really do have a good, I think a good mix of everybody. Can go on. We can go on to the next slide. Right. So one of the biggest shifts I've seen, right, in the last several years, that accounting fluency is becoming. I'm sorry. Did someone? Okay. Well, over the past few years, that knowledge of that accounting software is becoming an expectation rather than a specialty skill. Working with careers with my students, a lot of times I'll tell them just to go in on LinkedIn or Indeed and look at these different jobs you have and see which jobs are asking who knows QuickBooks, right? So even if a student doesn't become an accountant, right? You don't have to, everybody taking accounting is not becoming an accountant, right? Maybe you just want to have the background. Maybe you want to know what's going on because you want to start your own business, right? You're going to eventually need to understand your finances, whether you're an electrician, an HVAC technician, designer, mechanic, healthcare professional, entrepreneur, right? All these people, you have to invoice customers, you have to track expenses, you have to manage cash flows, and you have to read financial reports, right? That's why this QuickBooks program fits into multiple programs. You just don't have to be in a finance program. You can use it in a traditional accounting class. Maybe you're just touching on the service industry, right? Which with Craig's Landscaping, you can just touch upon the service industry part of it, right? Maybe you're just in a general business course. Maybe you're an entrepreneurship program. Maybe it's a standalone elective or a CTE pathway focused on career readiness and credentials, right? I have two examples of using QuickBooks within my program successfully, right? So if you have not used it within your program, I'd love to hear how you've used it in your program also. I was working in a vocational school in Newark, and especially when it turned to COVID and we had to navigate everyone over to QuickBooks Online in order so we didn't miss any learning. With our COVID funding, our school was able to have a summer program. And that summer program was a QuickBooks, 6-week QuickBooks course that they took in the summer with me. And it was not my business students that took the program. It was the students that were in masonry, the students that were in graphic arts, the students that were in culinary class. Everybody wanted to know QuickBooks, in part because they heard all of their friends so excited when they got their certifications and how they were going to put it on their resume. And they were so excited to, get a job because this was one of the skills that they needed, that all these other pathways were so excited and they wanted to take the QuickBooks course, right? And I also taught it in, because I also taught it in my adult ed program, because we had plumbing, HVAC, and electrical, and there was a standalone business program. But what happened was most people wanted to go into plumbing, electrical, and HVAC, and there was a wait list. So what the school offered was for them to take the business program to learn the entrepreneurial aspect and the finance aspect behind the trade pathways. So this way they were able to do their own bookkeeping. Or even if they didn't do their own bookkeeping, understand not how to get cheated by someone who was doing their bookkeeping. We can go on to the next slide. Right? So for schools with accounting and finance programs, industry recognized credentials are an important component, right? So QuickBooks is one of the leading industry recognized credentials in a CTE pathway of accounting technology, and finance. I don't know how many out there are funding your programs with Perkins grant, but if you're not, if you have a Perkins, if you have a CTE pathway, a 4-year pathway in your high school, you can apply for Perkins grant funding. One of the requirements based state to state, please check your state. One of the industry recognized credentials for that finance is a QuickBooks Online certified user, right? So once they have that program, you can have all that Perkins grant funding for your program. Perkins, if you're the grant, it's Perkins, it's a federal grant for CTE schools, right? So when I was working in adult ed, we had to change our SIP code. Those of you know, it's the technical aspects behind the grant. There's a SIP code they have, and you have that accounting SIP code. QuickBooks is the industry recognized credential, because I know in New Jersey, most of the industry recognized credentials is college credit. So if you don't have college credit behind your business programs, you're not going to get that grant funding, right? It's one of the reasons I value this program. It's not just teaching accounting software. It's giving students credentials that they can put on a resume, while also helping students demonstrate the value and effectiveness of CTE pathway. Did they just change it, Ronnie, that New Jersey? Because for accounting it has to be the zip code for accounting. Unless they just changed it last year, because it doesn't recognize Microsoft, but one of the only ones that recognizes QuickBooks. Is QuickBooks Online free? The program through Intuit is free.
The Intuit QuickBooks is not recognized as an approved industry certification exam.
Not anymore?
Not since I've done, like, this is our second year and it's not listed. There's a payroll and there's a bookkeeping test, and that's it for finance. Those are the only two that are
approved. For
finance,
because you have to have it for accounting. It has to be the
accounting is under finance.
It's zip code. I have the zip code here. Hold on a second. I wrote the zip code down.
520301.
203 I'm not sure if that's it. I don't know where I left my pathway.
Anyway, I might reach out to you later.
It is dependent on the state. Okay, thank you. 520800. Thank you, Desiree. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so why QuickBooks for Education? Because we have the free Intuit QuickBooks curriculum, right? The units are structured, lessons, assessments, everything is there at intuit.education.com. That's with that Intuit Education portal. I know a lot of you were speaking to the original educator portal that gave you access to create your own, that gave you accountant access to all your students and able to go into their accounts to see what they were doing. This curriculum is free, as opposed to you did have TAG Gaming, which was free, but most people used the Certiport resources, which were the LearnKey, right? And the G-metrics for practice testing. So everything is organized in QuickBooks, in the educator portal. There's lessons, there's activities, there's assessments, and there's instructional resources. There's no textbook to purchase. There's no complicated setup to process, and there's no cost to the students or the school. That's the main reason, right? Another major benefit is going to be the QuickBooks Online Certified User certification. Students earn the online certified user credential by taking the test, and you're going to have a QR code a little bit later that you can sign up for some free vouchers, right? So over the past years, I've helped more than 200 adults and high school students earn this certification. Many have used it on resumes, college applications, internships, and job applications. I'm connected to so many of these students on LinkedIn, and they're constantly telling me how this learning the platform and the software has helped them. Even if maybe they're not using, if they're using it different, it's still learning the software and helping them work through it, right? You can go to the next slide, right? So the curriculum is very teacher friendly. Everything is divided into units and lessons. Each lesson includes lesson plans with clickable links, presentation slides that are downloadable, guided notes, worksheets, there's practice activities, assessments, and of course, answer keys. Personally, the part I like the best is the timing, so that you can break down the lesson appropriately, because everybody's period time is a lot different. We can go to the next slide. Right, so we can go to the next slide. I talked too fast and went through two of them at one time. So here we go. QuickBooks online resources. You're going to see there's a couple of pictures. If you are in the Intuit Educator portal, you can click on the QuickBooks, the scenarios there, and you can look into the, this is exactly what you're seeing. So products and services, this is a slide from one of the slides, right? It tells you exactly there. You can work through it. We have on the right, into it for education. When you go through your worksheets, everything has screenshots, right? So if you're putting it in your LMS, right? If you're putting it in your LMS, you can have them just open it up digitally and look through it. Or if you're printing them out, I personally like to print them out so that the students have them in front of them. And as they're working through Craig's landscaping, they can see exactly what the page is supposed to look for and look like, right? Then they can write down the answers. A lot of times I'll have them just work in groups or switch with each other to answer their questions, and then go back online because the quizzes are online and those are all self-graded. You can go to the next slide. Right, so here's Craig's landscaping. I know a lot of you said you did not like it, right? I think this is where the curriculum comes alive for the students. Every unit is connecting directly to Craig's landscaping, which is the QuickBooks Online Drive sample company, right? As students learn the skill in class, they immediately apply it to the software. So if the students are learning about customers and invoices, they create invoices. But not only that, they don't have to create 100 invoices or 10 invoices or 5 invoices. They can just go through a couple of them because there's already invoices in there. It helps when they're trying to create the report. Whereas in the other educator portal, they had to physically put every single item in there. And if you're not a real company, there's a lot of stuff to put in there. A lot of regular companies have an account payable person, have an account receivable person, right? Everything's in Craig's for you. The best part, right? What I think the best part is it doesn't save. I know you said that was a bad part, that it didn't save. I like the fact it doesn't save, right? This test drive is a real business. It's already there. It has dollar amounts in it. So, and they're trying to create a report. The numbers are already there for them. It's not just like one line that they put in, right? It's the real business. I know from personal experience, when I have 24 students that I sent 24 invitations out to in the original educator portal, 20 students got the email. A couple people didn't get the email. Who was putting their cell phone number in there? I did not want them to put their cell phone number in there. Who was putting their personal email in there, right? It didn't work for me personally. I wasn't able to keep the class working together. You know, it never failed. Like someone always typed something in wrong. Someone put the wrong industry when they were setting up the company and had the wrong chart of counts. Some students are slower. Someone's afraid not to tell, someone's afraid to tell you that they didn't understand. So they just skipped over an entire part, right? They can click around. They can experiment. They can make mistakes and they can explore without breaking anything. I can't tell you how many students I had to purge their entire account and they had to start from scratch just from a little mistake, right? Nothing is saved permanently and no account setup is required. So when they're working in, this is for the all of the people that were asking about collecting data, you don't have to worry about any of that because nowhere in Craig's landscaping are they asking for the student's email. This is no one put the link. I gotta say, workarounds for incognito. You can try regular. Okay, so with QuickBooks, incognito window works best. If you don't have an incognito, I have found if they clear their history, clear your history. Once you clear your history, it usually has no problem coming back. I also can't get an incognito window on my school laptop. I can get it on my personal, but my school laptop, I have to keep clearing my history. Right? What is for the cache each time? Yeah, you do. You have to clear the cache every single time you go into Quegs, right? So there's how you get to the test drive. You can always just put it in Google, QuickBooks Online Test Drive or Craig's Landscaping, right? Everybody starts from the same starting point. That's what I love about it. It's the same starting point. The only thing that I do miss was sneaking in the back view to see how much time they spent in QuickBooks and if somebody else, because a lot of times with that other version, the students were giving their friends user access because you can have 5 users. They were giving their friends user access and their friends knew how to do it and they were putting all the information in and they couldn't figure out how I know who was doing what work, right? Marisol, you have a question?
Yes, I started using that one, but I found it difficult to grade what they were doing. Like I would tell them, okay, so work on this. But then for me to be able, because as we all know, if we don't give them grades, students don't want to do anything. So
Mm-hmm.
I found it very, very
Yes,
difficult to
screenshots.
go in and try to grade.
So what I do is I'll assign it in the LMS. They have the worksheet with what they have to do, and then they have to prove it by either downloading the report or screenshotting it for me.
Okay, because when you go to try to go in to look at it,
Yeah.
you
can't
can't.
go
It's
into
just,
there. You
and
can't go
if
into
you
there.
have huge 30, 35 kids in a class, that is extremely time consuming.
Exactly, to go into each one. So I have found, even when I use the other version, I have found that I made them screenshot it. So if they had to like change the address or add new customers, they had to screenshot it or download the file, and that's what they attached as their proof.
Thank you.
Okay, Cynthia, did you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. I teach
Yes.
accounting on a college
Yes.
level.
Okay, so you
And
still have access to that original one.
yeah, and I'm trying to, because I teach the theory first, but then trying to
Mm-hmm.
incorporate the QuickBooks in when most of them don't understand the theory before we get into the QuickBooks. So what,
Yes.
how do
Okay,
you
so
handle that, and what do I need to do differently to make sure I can get all of it together? Because they don't understand debits and
yes.
credit, and I'm afraid to get them
So
into QuickBooks. So
Well, I try to explain to them. So I started in adult ed and same thing. I walked into the middle of the classroom as a leave replacement first teacher and everybody was learning QuickBooks, but not one student knew what accounting was. And I said, you have to like at least have a little background. So I did journal, I did debits and credits just to give them that basis, but they really like to physically do the work, right? Because accounting is just that concept, right? And sometimes they can't grasp it. So I like to do it together, right? So you're learning about debits and credits. And I say, you're never going to journalize when you work in QuickBooks, but there is a journal that you may need to put some stuff in. So you need to know what is in the back, like behind the scenes. That
okay,
accounting is behind the scenes, right? So if you're writing checks, well, you can write checks and you can pay bills and you can kind of see in the reports, right? It's mostly kind of showing them the accounting through the report tab.
okay. I was just curious.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So we can go on to the next slide, right? Did everybody take a chance and go over to Craig's? You can do anything you want in Craig's. You can add new customers. You can pay $1 million bills. You can do anything. Once they make a mistake, because I was doing a lot of juniors and they were just like spelling things wrong, adding extra zeros. They would get so frustrated. Their numbers weren't right. And once you close Craig's and reopen it again, it's fresh. Yes, it's fresh. So right, let's see. Did everybody go in? Did everybody go in and look a little bit if you have not done so yet, if you're not teaching QuickBooks? Yeah. Oh, people liked, I'm just reading through the chat. So we have people who like accounting better than QuickBooks, right? You're going to have the opposite, right? The people that like accounting better than QuickBooks, well, that's going to be your accountant. The person who likes QuickBooks better is going to be more the entrepreneur, right? The link.
So can I ask a quick question? Because I have a
Yes,
personal QuickBooks account and my teacher account. And so
yes.
I have to like right now, I'm so sorry. When I tried to log in, I just pick my teacher account, right? And that keeps it
Yes.
separate. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. You
Okay, I'm
with your
sorry. I
with
just
the
want to make sure
original,
I'm not screwing something up.
which portal are you using? The old portal or the new portal?
I just typed in what's on the slide.
For the portal.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So before this portal, that's been a couple years old, there was another
Okay.
educator portal that you would send your students an invitation to a free 1 year
Okay. So that
QuickBooks
has changed then
subscription.
since I've been on here before. I think
Just
that's what made
changed.
it so hard for me, and I didn't dive in. So I think this will
Yes.
make it a lot easier. Thank you
That
so
was,
much.
I feel like a lot of people, high school felt that was a little, especially if you didn't have a standalone course. If you don't have a standalone QuickBooks course, this is your way. This Intuit Education Portal is your way to incorporate it, right?
So
The
I
new
have a
portal, it's Intuit.education.
yeah, I have a follow-up question as
Yes.
well, with along with what she just was saying. So
Yes.
should I delete the old account because it is getting mixed up when I go in? Like when I go in, and both of mine were under my teacher email.
Yeah.
And so should I
I do
delete
still have both.
the
I
old
do
one?
still have both, but I don't know how I keep them separate. I think
Yeah, because
I have them bookmarked.
it
I have them
yeah,
bookmarked as two separate sites.
okay. Because when
It
I
won't let you
go
get in the
in
test drive.
with the test drive, it's trying to give me
Yes.
the companies that I did create
Oh, your
years
old
ago.
companies.
So
Go
delete.
to, do you see on this, the qbo.intuit.com/
Yes, yes,
VJAR test drive? That should just give
yes.
you Craig's.
And it doesn't. It has me sign in, and when I sign in with that account,
It's
it
going to your
takes
other
me back to
account.
my old one. So should I just try to delete that account?
If you're not going to use it, it's only going to be good. I think Liliana said it's only going to be good until December. If you
Okay,
don't feel that you're going to use it, I would try
delete
and
it.
delete it, but I don't know how Intuit deletes your
I don't either.
username. Because when I pull up Intuit, it literally pulls up all my kids' emails with their TurboTax, all
Yeah.
my
Okay.
old previous districts. Yeah, so I'm not sure how they.
I'll keep playing around with it, but thank you.
Same thing
Yes.
for me. I can't log. It tells me that something went wrong. Try again.
Something went wrong, error. Yes,
Yes.
it's going to be, you have to, did you clear your history? You have to go to your history and clear everything, or it won't open. What's going to happen is it's going to open, the test drive is going to open. It's going to give you the little 9 squares, and it's going to say find a bus, prove that you're not human, and then it'll open your test drive. Are we good? Are we good? You try using Chrome instead of Edge. That's another one. It works much better in Chrome than it does in Edge. But I did find if you can't open it on Chrome and you're getting an error and you switch to Edge, for some reason, my students on their school computers were able to use Edge and it worked perfectly. If you have Craig's Landscaping, can we go back one slide to show them what Craig's Landscaping? Can we go back one slide? Could you back it to the left one? Thank you. That's what Craig's is going to look like for you. It's going to say Intuit. Do you see the page? Tina, sample company, QuickBooks.
I do,
That's
but
what
I guess
Craig's
I'm
is.
having the same problem that she had. I created this account years ago and was going to use it and never
And that's
did.
what's
And I
working.
don't see Craig's stuff.
Yeah, it's so weird. I think we
I'm
have
in
to
the same
delete it.
boat.
I think we have to delete it and just
or
You need to sign out of the company.
yeah, I think because Google, if you're using Google Chrome, I think Google is saving your passwords and it's automatically updating it. I found that if you go to your web browser, and just type in Craig's Landscaping Intuit test drive, and then find the link through, click on the link through Intuit. Maybe that will work. But this is not just for Craig's that this happens with. This happens with everything QuickBooks. You have to make they rather you have an incognito window and use Chrome and clear your cache constantly.
Cleared my
It's not.
history and it worked.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
say, so what I did is I usually use Firefox and I went into Chrome because I have my
Okay.
personal account and it seems like I
Yes.
got in with Chrome. So you
Yes.
just got to separate if you're using it for your personal accounts or do it on I'm
Yes.
using my personal computer today. I should have used my work computer, but
To check, yeah.
okay.
Because it will. Also, if you have a different Chrome browser for each person, right? Like, because I have like my school account, I have my personal account, my kids' accounts are on mine. I just click between them.
And I think like what they're saying is because when we signed up years ago, like because I used like TurboTax for years, it kept trying to combine everything. So I think it's
Yes.
just we got to get things separated.
Yeah, you do. You have to. Be careful which username you're using. That's what it is. Right? You really have to be careful of your username and just use, I tried to keep everything separate.
So when I try to sign on or sign on for QuickBooks,
Yes.
is giving me like a plan to choose.
Oh, no. You have to go to the test drive. It just wants you to open a regular
That's what I
account.
did.
You don't want that. Don't do that.
That's what
Christine,
I did.
I'm gonna
you just
jump
want
in.
the test drive.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in here. I know there's some issues accessing, but we are at your time. So if you want to wrap up, and then we will have office
Sure.
hours right after this track ends at 4 p.m. that you all can join too.
Okay, we can
Sorry,
move forward.
Christine, I'm gonna have
with
you
three
move on.
slides. Yeah, go. Let's go on to at least 3 slides there. Go ahead. One more. Okay, so here's your certification. There's the QR code for the certifications. If you can, just link on that. So they're free Certiport test vouchers available for students. You can complete the form to request vouchers for your students, and someone for the team will reach out to you, right? They are, when you do test, it's the same as from Microsoft Specialist. It goes through Certiport, right? And you have the voucher and you test through there. One thing I do want to say about testing with QuickBooks, if any of you have tested Microsoft, it's all project-based. So when you test with QuickBooks, it's not necessarily a project that they're working on. They're working on the skills and knowledge they learned. So you really need to have that background, which Intuit, it's their test. So they're giving you the information in their worksheets, in their tutorials, in their videos. It's all right there for you. And it's just practice, practice, practice. And I really do feel when those students click around to input the data, they do. I mean, these are technologically advanced kids we're talking about. They've never lived without technology. When, you ask them to open up Snapchat that they never had before and they learn it within 5 minutes. It's the same thing with QuickBooks. They know exactly where to go, right? That's what we're working on. They have to just practice working on it, just like they do social media. Okay, we can go on the next slide. Right, so here we have Intuit for Education. It's the free course. I think it's I can't remember, 6 or 7 modules. 6 or 7 modules within the whole course. Each of them is timed at about 50 minutes, right? That's from beginning to end, 50 minutes. I like to break those in half. A lot of times I'll do the PowerPoint and let them look at QuickBooks. I will not let them start typing in anything into Craig's unless I know they have enough time to finish, because it doesn't save. So one day we'll do the theory, we'll click around, and the next day we'll work on actually doing it in Craig's and then finishing up, taking their screenshots, submitting their assignments, right? And then testing after that. So even though it's about 6 or 7 50-minute sessions, I do try and double up the time and have extra time for them to work on it.